Hello, my friends. It's been a while since I had a live stream, and for some odd reason, tonight I was inspired to be spontaneous. I was going to just do my normal activities for the times, the rare occasions when I'm able to just sit down and play some video games, which is to play my video games and watch videos on my second monitor, and decided to just make it a live stream, and I'm calling it Germrot because this is like Zoomer brain rot content to the max. And so tonight I'm going to be playing Oblivion while watching old newsreels on the 1960s race riots in the United States. And I'll be chatting with you guys at the same time. So if anybody shows up, we'll see. See if anybody shows up in the stream. But yeah. So I haven't gotten too far in Oblivion just yet. I'm only level 2. So if you guys have played this game and want to give me some tips, I'd appreciate it. I played Oblivion a little bit in my teens, back when it was a new game, but never really... Maybe I should move this over here. I never really got deep into the game, so I'm not super familiar with everything here. Everything's kind of new to me right now. I don't remember too much from it, but yeah. So we'll be playing some Oblivion and watching newsreels from the 1960s. So hopefully this is some comfy content for you Zoomers out there looking for brain rot content. I'm going to start this first newsreel, which it's a 1969 throwback. The Rothschilds speak out on an attempted kidnapping. I have never heard of this event before. We're going to watch it together for the first time. Here we go.
Il a 24, le chauffeur, non, je parle du chauffeur. Mais il a aussi, il a 20 quelques années, je veux dire.
Sir, excuse me. Till now, we were listening to you, but we're representing an American network. Mm-hmm. And could we also have a few words in English with you about this story that happened to your son this morning? Well, I think we better start from the beginning. What time did you get the call? And what happened at your apartment?
I mean, I'll have to say, repeat it very, very scantily. He asked me to collect the money quickly. Is this thing working?
Yes, it is.
And come myself, personally, as quickly as possible to his, myself in person to his flat. So it was rather obvious what was up, that there was a guy.
So this is a Rothschild with an eye patch over his eye for whatever reason. He's talking about somebody ran up to him with a knife and attempted to kidnap somebody.
Gunman involved, because otherwise he would have given better explanations. He said, "Don't ask me any questions and do what I'm asking you." He's a sensible, quiet type of fellow, so I mean it's quite clear that something was very much up. So I went to the bank. It took a long time to collect the money because you haven't got that amount. It had to be recovered from the Banque de France. It took a long time, and in the meantime I warned the police. But I warned at the top because I didn't want some bloody fool to come with his big boots and make a noise which should produce the reaction of the gunman just shooting everyone. So I talked to someone high enough to react like any of us would want to, which he did.
And at what time did the police come in on the scene?
They came in with me. They were hidden when I went in.
How were you able to raise so much money, sir, so quickly?
Well, a bank goes to the Bank of France, can take any amount of money. It's professional.
You went to the Bank of France?
But the cashier of my bank went to the Bank of France. It's a routine job to collect cash. The questions asked. I mean, one doesn't. It's professionals.
But how did this gunman get into your apartment in Paris?
It's your apartment.
Into...
We don't live together. He lives with his mother.
Into your son's apartment,
That's right.
David Rothschild.
That's right.
Well, he just came, rang at the bell, and asked to see me. And as one is not usually prepared for such kind of scene, there's no reason.
Who was in the apartment. And then finally we got into my car with the chauffeur. And we were just the three of us. The chauffeur, I was sitting next to the chauffeur at the gunman's request, and he was sitting behind.
And where was your son during that time?
He stayed in the flat. It was finished. He was over.
Could you tell us about the patch on your eye, sir?
No, it's because when the police attacked the car to capture him, they smashed the glass, and the flying glass just cut my eye, that's all. So it looks very glamorous, but it's only a very, very minor thing.
And what kind of a person will you qualify this person who ransomed your son?
Paranoia, if I may answer. Something like that.
Do you think the media would
He was
even
a young
ask
man.
about the eye patch today? Like one of the guys just then asked him, "What's going on with that eye patch?" And he had some little story to tell about how he got cut on his eye. I wonder if the media would even ask a question like that today. Do you see weird weird stuff going on with big celebrities and things happening to their eyes all over? You know, like you see this on like sort of schizo conspiracy circles with world leaders, black eyes. I don't know if I can find a good example here. Maybe on X. This kind of shit. Just weird stuff happening to their eyes. You know, this is just one example, but there's I don't know. I've probably had one black eye in my entire life. It doesn't seem like especially this kind of thing. Like, what's going on with always the left eye? Which one did he have covered? His left eye. I don't know. It's just kind of strange. It seems like it's hard to believe that this was a real event.
And do you know anything about him?
No.
Did he say anything on the car drive
No,
to you?
no. Only arguing about how he'd get away, and me trying to give him ideas to get rid of him.
Did you think the police that he would shoot you when the police swung the car off the road?
Well, I knew the police were doing a proper job. In other words, trying to capture him when they thought they wouldn't endanger my own safety. And it's only after we've been riding up and down for the best of half an hour, 3/4 an hour, that they got orders not to let it go on forever. It would be worse than to attack.
This never happened in your family before, sir?
Not that I remember.
Could you
Does it
finally
begin
tell
with-
me, could you tell me where you come in the ranking of the world's rich men?
Where what?
Where you come in the ranking of the world's rich men?
Way down the list. So much lower than anyone would ever believe that if I told you, although I don't know the figure, you wouldn't believe it.
He says he's lower than anyone would believe in the ranks of the wealthiest men in the world. Come on.
You don't believe there are any political this kidnapping?
Well, it's not a kidnapping. He wanted the money.
No.
But there's no reason to believe it. I mean, there's no evidence pointing that way. If something turns out of it, it seems highly improbable.
No,
His
because
behavior makes it very improbable.
this young man.
What's
this
going
young
on
man-
with the audio here?
Voilà, monsieur.
All right, this is over. This wasn't a very good one. Let's get to the race riots. The first one on the list is 1968 Miami race riots.
I get through here with the microphone? Thank you.
Is this worth taking? Imp call? Anybody know? Yeah, that was a Rothschild in the last video. Let me turn this audio down just a little bit. Listen to these frickin' monkeys. If anyone's familiar with Oblivion and they could tell me like what stuff is worth gathering, I would appreciate it. What's this? Deep Canyon.
Him and this guy.
That's not a loudspeaker. It's just a, you have to hold it right there. Now, wait a minute. I can't. Guys, I don't have a loudspeaker.
Let me switch to. Oh, that wasn't the button I wanted to pick. Coco says last time Germ streamed Doomguard was still around. Oh no, I've streamed long after Doomguard disappeared, but that's pretty funny. I wonder whatever happened to that guy.
Somebody's going to have to be quiet. Now, so far, I've been mighty quiet. And I've been listening, haven't I?
Oh, got a key here.
All right. Now, I'm not going to talk.
Good old Doomguard. I have some nostalgia for my own content sometimes, where I look back on like the stream that I did with Jolly Crocodile and Doomguard. That was a good time. That was a fun stream.
You write it down. You put it in the book.
Ooh.
Spawns are crazy. Now it's like 13, 19 minutes.
What? Come on. One. How many more lockpicks do I have? 30. 2. Oh my goodness. Alright, this is the last try. Last try. Alright. Not worth it. I'm not good enough at lockpicking yet. Where can I go from here? I came from here, right? Let's skip ahead on this one.
Let the man talk.
Hey, let the man talk. I had no idea that Miami had race riots. See, this is the kind of stuff they don't teach you at schools. The amount of race riots that happened in the late 60s is insane. I've been looking into this stuff because I'm planning on making like a 1 or 2 hour, it's gonna be probably around 1 hour, a 1 hour video on the white flight of Chicago's West Side. And telling, you know, the story from a pro-white perspective, explaining why from the city to the suburbs in Chicago, using Chicago as, you know, a microcosm example. I passed this chest right up. To just, you know, just shed some light on the rational motivations that white people had to get the hell out of the city. And one part of the story, an important part of the story, were these race riots, which happened in Chicago, but they also happened all over the United States. In almost just about every major city had a race riot in the late 1960s. I mean, and it was worse than the summer of like George Floyd and whoever the hell that other guy was. Can't even remember all these blacks that have been used as martyrs for the left, but yeah, it was way worse than that. I mean, people back then were, I think, a lot more serious about these issues, and there was a lot less distractions, and so this is definitely one big part of the story of white flight were these race riots. Ahmaud Arbery. There was I was gonna say Brown. Brown was what came to mind, but let's find some people to kill here. Look at this shit. Of course, it's like, oh, the wolf is fighting for me. Good boy. Let's get him. Good boy. Sorry I had to kill you too, but you were a good doggy. I don't know what this shit is. Anyway, I was gonna say they call them riots, but half of it was just the blacks like looting businesses, burning and looting businesses. Oh, who's hitting me? Who's hitting me? Zap. Got a lockpick. Oh, it's getting dark. I better get to Kvatch. Yeah, lockpick. I better get somewhere to sleep. Are these worth taking? Nightshade. How does everybody feel about the placement of the video in relation to the video game? Is it big enough? Is it in the right corner? What do you guys think? What's up, puppy? Look at me, by the way. I went for realism. Look at that guy. What the hell? Oh, I thought I turned my head. I thought it was a naked guy for a second. I was like, what the fuck? I got some naked crackhead they're throwing in the van. What are they saying? I gotta turn this up a little.
We got everything. They're gonna do it down the station, Sarge. Are these your cups? Yeah. You got the key for it? This is his lunch. What did they do? We'll ride down with Hopkins, okay?
Interdimensional Harmony asks, have you seen the channel Vagrant Holiday? He had some close-up footage of the looting. Are you talking about like the recent riots and looting?
Miami.
That'd be interesting.
They've selected only a limited number of newsmen to travel with them because they feel this will serve only to incite more violence.
Oh my god. Maybe to put side by side with clips like this when I do the segment. Because currently, my current like outline for the White Flight from Chicago documentary or long form video is going to be like, first I'm going to provide footage of how Chicago was before white flight. And I'm going to talk about the things that were attractive about living in the city, the things that made it desirable, the things that also make areas of like the near west suburbs of Chicago attractive, desirable places to live even today, and explain, how these areas were and still are extremely desirable places to live for people who want to live in a big city. I know, myself included, with a lot of you guys in the audience, I'm sure you're a good portion of you are the types of people who want to live more in the countryside and get away from the cities. But for what cities are, and for what they were when they were, 99% white, there were a lot of desirable things about them, and beautiful places, and tight-knit communities, and a lot of things to do, and very nice houses, nice neighborhoods. So the first part is going to be talking about all the things that made, in particular, the west side of Chicago a desirable place to live. And to sort of like pose the question, if these areas were so desirable, if they were so nice, why did the whites move out? The explanations that were given don't really make any sense. They're too shallow. They're too superficial. They don't. To somebody who's looking at it objectively and rationally, the explanations that were given of like just pure irrational hatred, or also a common explanation that's given is, who the hell are you? Come here. Come here. Come here. Talk to me. He's fleeing for his life. Makes me want to kill him. Another common explanation that we're given is, these shady realtors would.
We've been hit
Let's see.
hard, but we'll come back. If you mean the priest, I don't think he made it out of the city. Very few of us did. But Savlian Matthias might know more. He's in charge of the city guard that are defending the camp.
Uh-oh. Something happened to the city.
You'll find him at the barricade at the top of the road. He's still trying to hold what's left of the guard together. No. Stop talking.
So anyway, we're told, oh shit, that these shady realtors came in and they told the white families that were living there that blacks are going to be moving in, and you better sell your houses now, because once the blacks move in, you're never going to be able to get a good deal on your house. It's going to lose all its value. And, that kind of begs the question, why did the whites want to get away from the blacks so bad to begin with? So, once I'm done talking about how desirable these areas were, then it'll move on to explaining why the whites wanted to get away from the blacks. And section 1 is going to be the schools, the forced busing, forced integration into the schools, what was going on in the life of the students, why busing in like 40-50% of suddenly your school becomes 40 to 50% black. They bust in these blacks from the what happens to the daily experience of a white student in that school, and why. Oh shit.
While there's still time, the guard still holds the road, but it's only a matter of time before they're overwhelmed. God's blood. You don't know, do you? Deidre overran Kvatch last night.
Oh shit.
There were glowing portals outside the walls, gates to Oblivion itself. There was a huge creature
Something out of a nightmare. Came right over the walls, blasting fire that swarmed around it, killing.
Sounds like they bust in the blacks.
Go and see for yourself. Kvatch is a smoking ruin. We're all that's left. Do you understand me? Everyone else is dead. It was Savli and Matthews. Some of the other guards helped some of us escape. They cut their way out, right through the city gates. Savlian says they can hold the road. No, I don't believe him. Nothing can stop them. If you'd seen it, you'd know. I'm getting out of here before it's too late. They'll be here any minute, I'm telling you.
The voice acting doesn't quite match the animations. Anyway, so what happened to the average experience of a white student at these schools, and why the parents wanted to move the hell out of there once they started this forced busing routine. That was a huge part of white flight. And I've been going through old yearbooks for these schools. I've been going through old newspaper reports. There's so many interesting events, so many interesting, like big student fights that happen, people being sent to the hospital, blacks rioting. And this was happening like before 68 when all the big riots happened. This was happening from 64, 65, 66, all these years when they started busing the blacks into these white schools. And, one of the main reasons that people move today is to find a better school district. That's like the number one reason that, people buy a new home. So that's going to be section 1. Then section 2 is going to be the race riots, the crime, the violence that was brought in by blacks, and the way that the governments were not just forcing integration into the schools, but also into the neighborhoods, creating, the Fair Housing Act, and the way that they forced every white neighborhood with more than 75% white population to create housing available for these low-rent blacks, and the effects that it had on that neighborhood. And really all of that culminated in 68 with these riots. And so I'll be talking about the riots and, the experience of a white person living like a mile away from where these riots were happening and all that. Then section 3 will be, regardless, the final foundation of white flight is white people back then instinctively understood that if they were not homogenous, if their neighborhoods did not maintain homogeneity, and I'm talking about like 99%, 95 at least percent white, then their children would grow up with other races and mix with them. And they did not want that. This was like universally seen as a bad thing, to the point where the activists that were in favor of integration were at this point in history, they were still afraid to lay all their cards on the table and be so bold as to say, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with race mixing. What's wrong with you bigots? They didn't say that. They said, oh, you guys are crazy. That'll never happen. We don't want to marry your daughters. We don't want to mix with you guys. We just want to have access to the same resources and schools and nice places to live and stuff like that. We don't want to mix with you guys. So it was so universally understood. Rob Roy says sound up. The sound up of my voice or sound of the video. But it was so universally understood that whites did not want to race mix back then. It was like a taboo thing, that the proponents of integration had to be dishonest and say like, oh, we don't want to race mix. Nowadays, you're called a racist if you say that you will never race mix. If you say you only date whites, or you don't have any interest in other races. So that'll be the final thing in the video. So I'm going to be going to the west side of Chicago, going to these bad neighborhoods, taking videos of the locations where the riots happened, the locations where student fights happened, showing you beautiful blocks and neighborhoods and parks and things like that that have been destroyed. Let's see what's going on here.
Stand back, civilian. This is no place for you. Get back to the encampment at once. Lost the damn city. That's what happened. It was too much. Too fast. We were overwhelmed. Couldn't even get everyone out. There are still people trapped in there. Some made it to the chapel, but others were just run down in the streets. The Count and his men are still holed up in the castle. And now we can't even get back into the city to help them. That damned Oblivion gate blocking the way. The only thing we can do...
Yeah, Philadelphia. I've seen some of these news clips from the East Coast, and it's like, for example, I didn't know how bad it was in South Boston. South Boston, it was pretty crazy back in the late 60s. Let's say we're going to help.
You want to help? You're kidding, right? If you're serious, maybe I can put you to use. It'll likely mean your death, though.
Oh, shit.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I don't know how to close this gate, but it must be possible, because the enemy closed the ones they opened during the initial attack. You can see the marks in the ground where they were. The great gate right in the middle. I sent men into the gate to see if they could find a way to shut it. They haven't.
He sent men into the gate?
Find out what happened to them. If they're alive, help them finish the job. If not,
How irresponsible can you be?
the best I can say is good luck. If you make it back alive, we'll be waiting for you.
All right.
Good luck.
Let's turn on the riots again
Reports
while
thus
I go.
far about the devastation here in northwest Miami have been exceptionally exaggerated. There have been some broken windows and one or two overturned cars and one.
Let's go,
severely
baby.
burned.
Straight into the gate.
This is Mal Good in northwest Miami.
Zap this. Let's go. Straight to the gate.
This is a command post of the.
Thought it was like World of
This
Warcraft.
is the command post of the devastated area here in. This is the command post of the most seriously devastated area in northwest Miami, where in the last 3 hours there have been some incidents of teenagers throwing rocks and bottles and bricks at store windows, and so far they've overturned 2 cars and burned one of them severely, and one white man was beaten who had a Wallace sticker on his automobile as he tried to travel through this northwest area. A few moments ago, Governor Claude Kirk and Reverend Ralph Abernathy of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference came into this area to get an assessment from the chief of police. After getting that assessment, they decided to tour the...
I like how they had to send the black guy into the most devastated area. Like, he's got his black armor on. They know he's not going to be attacked by the brothers.
Devastated area together. They have just left here a few moments ago for that purpose, with only a limited number of newsmen permitted to ride with them. This is Mal Good in northwest Miami, Florida. All right? I'm going to talk to Mayor Stephen Clark of Miami. Mayor, can you give us your assessment of the trouble here now?
Well, apparently these problems take place in all communities, and we prayed that would never happen in Miami. Apparently this problem is pretty well contained at the present time. I just talked to our assistant police chief, Mr. Paul Denham. He tells me that movement is reported from the field, and everything seems to be under control at the present time, and we're looking for a very cool evening.
Mayor, you feel that this maybe has been blown out of proportion, the seriousness of it?
Well, you know full well that many times I hear of many things being blown out of...
I like how the black reporter's like, I think this is maybe being blown out of proportion. This looks like mostly peaceful riots here. This looks like mostly peaceful protest.
Proportion. I was right in the area at 7 o'clock, and I did not see any vandalism, any looting, any burning of stores or anything of that nature. These people just wanted to be heard, and I was there to listen to them and to answer them to the best of my ability.
Mayor, I don't want to embarrass you at all, but isn't it a little odd that Governor Claude Kirk, the executive of this state, would come here and to tour the area and not go with you, the mayor of the city?
Well,
Can you be frank about this?
It seems a little bit different because when you have the opportunity of serving as mayor of a great city of this nature, apparently the governor, it might have been an oversight on his part. I pray it was an oversight on his part, but I was standing not too far away from him. He knew that I was in the area.
Mayor, do you feel that this is a little dangerous to play with the lives and property of human beings at a time like this on a political basis?
If it's on a political basis, I think it's absolute damnation to do a thing of that nature because people have the right to express themselves, and we always entertain their expression at our commission table.
Mayor Clark, is there generally a good feeling between the police and the black community of Miami? Would you say that?
I do believe so for this reason, because in our community, in all representative offices, whether it be elective or appointed, the black community, as you speak of, is at 20% of our populace, and we have 20% representation in all fields, and we feel that they're very satisfied. Of course, these sporadic incidents take place, and we're doing the best to our ability to contain this one at the present time. We prayed it would never happen here, but of course, sometimes you pray for manna and it's not delivered.
Mayor, I've witnessed already a number of
switching to the bow.
Negro citizens here, like a personal.
The Negro citizens. Why did we ever stop saying Negro? That's such a fucking choice word right there.
And Dr. Colson and Dr. Patterson and some others who have already indicated an interest and have toured this area several times, trying to bring peace and quiet. Does that ease your mind?
It surely does. In fact, the reason that our community has been as great as it has in the past is because of the influence of these fine gentlemen in our area.
I want to thank you. That's Mayor Steve Clark, who's given us a first. Mr. Mayor Steve Clark of Miami, who's given us a first-hand assessment of the trouble which has been going on here for the last 3.5 or 4 hours in the northwest section of Miami, Florida. To be sure, this might have been triggered by the lily-white climate of the Republican convention, which is in progress.
The lily-white climate. That always lily-white always struck me as like a slur. Did that fucking Negro on ABC News just use a slur right in front of the mayor? The mayor kind of looks at him funny when he says that. Look at him.
It's Mayor Steve Clark, who's given us a first. Mr. Mayor Steve Clark of Miami, who's given us a first-hand assessment of the trouble which has been going on here for the last 3.5 or 4 hours in the northwest section of Miami, Florida. To be sure, this might have been triggered by the lily-white climate of the Republican convention, which is in progress right now.
I wonder what that mayor's thinking watching this guy talk.
Just a few months.
These blacks were just triggered by the lily-white climate of the convention going on down here.
Miles from here. But certainly men like Mayor Clark and Dr. Colson, the educator, and Dr. John O'Brown, and a number of other outstanding citizens of Northwest Miami have made every effort to bring this situation under control. At the present time, Governor Claude Kirk, and Reverend David Abernathy of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference are touring the area where some bottles and bricks were thrown, where two cars were overturned and one of them severely burned, a car that had a Wallace sticker on the back. But at this time, about 9:45 this night, Wednesday, August 7, the situation has been brought reasonably under control, according to the words given us here by Mayor Steve Clark. Thank you so kindly, Mayor, for talking with us. And this is Mal Good in Northwest Miami, Florida.
Oh, there they are. Going back to the Claymore.
2 hours has been a raining of bricks and bottles and cans, and you can see in the background some of the debris. These persons here are determined to drive the white cops out of the area. Just a few moments ago.
Oh no! Bro! Oh man. Oh, I'm so sorry. As I'm fucking pawing over his body, taking his shit. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Look at that. Oh shit. Look at him. Ran right up to them, pointed that pistol right in his face. What am I supposed to do? Does it hurt the quest that this guy died? Take that shield too. Does anybody know? Oh shit. Ow. Get wrecked. Jeez, look at that. I wonder where exactly this was. I'm not familiar with Miami, so I don't know what the city looks like today. Oh, how did I miss that?
Look at you wearing your helmet.
Yeah, they called in the National Guard. How they had enough troops to go around. They had the National Guard in like every major city. So this is the one I came from. Oh, what does this do? Bending halls. We both missed. Look at them. That street looks like somewhere out of like Central America, like a bad neighborhood in Mexico. Now, what does this do? There they go with the gas masks. Isn't this where I just came from? So what the hell am I supposed to do? Did I miss something over here?
Police should go down here. You know, listen, tear gases, I mean, in people's houses, making people go in their houses. I mean, people not even doing them, they stand up and they running them off. People that doing stuff, they're not even bothering them. They bothering the people down here, not even doing them.
Why do you think there was trouble?
Man,
Well,
they're not even bothering nobody. They're just flipping cars over and burning down buildings. That doesn't bother the police. What the police doing down here? They got nothing to do with this. What the hell?
Well, you know that's a lot of baloney.
Did he get killed by his own trap? Oh shit.
Well, you believe everything you hear like that? I mean, that's a
not
funny
exactly,
story,
but
you
I
know
mean,
it.
that's what's going on a lot of it when they brought that convention out.
Well, who did start?
Oh, that's Taylor, man. Be with Martin Luther King. No, he doesn't, man. You're wrong. Martin Luther King did not start it. You're wrong. King.
See, this guy doesn't, like, history would tell you these are 100%.
Who do you think started all this?
History would tell you that these riots were 100% like a reaction to Martin Luther King being killed and all that. And this black guy's over here like, hell no, it wasn't Martin Luther King.
Well, I mean, I heard on TV here the other night where they was talking about, you know, they didn't like the color people because they didn't think the color people, you know, was in the classes, you know, of the other people. Well, they now be correct that they're supposed to have, man.
Well, let me ask you one quick question. Do you think that any of this is going to stop the trouble?
No, that's going to make it worse. I mean, that's going to make it worse. No, because it will not stop. They're going to have to keep them here. It'll be worse and worse. But make the white man understand that the Negro, he's tired of being behind. The Negro want to be as you.
The Negro want to be as you.
He can't get a job because our face is dark. I'm a Negro. I'm a truck driver. We go to somewhere to apply for a job, you can't get nothing because my face is dark.
So you don't think this is going to help at all?
No, that's not going to help. No. Hurt and the damage? No, that's no way to solve it. No.
Bro, what happened to you? Oh, let's pause it and see what happened to this guy.
Quickly, there's no time.
Bro, they fucked you up.
The sigil keep, they call it. That's what keeps the Oblivion gate open. Find the sigil stone, remove it, and the gate will close. Hurry! The keeper has the key. You must get the key.
Yeah, I just killed the guy. Give me the... Didn't I just get the fucking key?
Take the key, get to the sigil keep, and find the sigil stone. It's the only way. Don't worry about me. There is no time. Get moving.
Don't worry about you. What are you talking about? You're naked in a fucking cage. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh shit, that scared me. Well, okay, so the sigil keep, where is that? Let's get back to the riot here. I need the orb. Did I miss an orb? I don't see an orb. I got the key. Damn, look at that guy. I'm going back down. Corpse smasher.
Okay.
there no way out? It's not the right way.
Paper 840, paper 840, this is paper 820. Did you roger that transmission, over? Paper 820, this is paper 849. Re-roger your message. Paper 820.
Sigil key is an orb, okay.
The Sheriff's Department will make arrests if necessary of persons in this area. Do not clear the street immediately. Out.
There's another bridge over there. Let's find another, let's find one with more discussion. Let's see. Negro motels back in 1964.
Come on in here, come on in here, Alexander Ragtime Band. Come on in here, come on in here, the best band in the land. They can play a bugle call like you never heard before. So natural that you wanna go to war. It's just the bestest band, whatever. Oh, honey lamb, come on along, come on along. Let me take you by the hand to meet the man, who's the leader of the band. And if you want to hear
Jewish racism versus black anti-Semitism. That's a 2-hour video, Jesus. 1966,
clawed his way up
The
from
Angry
obscurity and
Negro.
degradation to become an international spokesman for black aspirations and an angry radical in his own country. He made enemies as he rose, enemies who set out to destroy him. February 21st, 1965, the Audubon Ballroom in Harlem. Minister Malcolm faced his audience. He also faced his assassins, and his death has been recorded.
And without any further ado, I bring before you the Minister Malcolm, and I pray that you and I will listen, hear, and understand.
Even the demons in Oblivion have nice stained glass windows.
Salam alaikum. Hold it.
Oh, I thought that was a friend for a
When
second.
you get past Malcolm, then you lose a lot of steam. You got a big vacuum, and then you hit just about rock bottom.
Malcolm X and what he stood for, I think one of his major contributions to the struggle has been the arousing the consciousness of being black. It's called negritude in French-speaking Africa. The
Negritude.
consciousness of being black in the black people.
The punished.
Malcolm X voiced the bitterness of Harlem and Watts, of the urban, slum-dwelling Negro. Assassins silenced Malcolm. Although the struggle for civil rights in the South
Someone's shooting at me?
captured public attention, the frustrations and hopes on which Malcolm built his following have not disappeared. The radicalism of the Southern civil rights movement has had growing nationwide sympathy. The justice of the cause was clear because Southern Negroes fought an open and arrogant enemy. The Northern Negro radical is more difficult to
And these guys are
understand.
starting to hit.
His people are poor. They are second-class citizens. The harsh realities of the slum and racial exclusion make a mockery of equal opportunity. But the Northern Negro has no clear enemy, no white citizens council, no Sheriff Clark. There is no line which once crossed brings the promise of victory and a better life. Not knowing what he must fight, the urban Negro loses hope in the fight itself. The black radical returns hope to his people. He substitutes for a clear enemy a proud cause.
This is interesting because basically what he just said is the blacks in the North were content. Like they weren't fighting any fight, and they're saying, oh, the reason that the blacks aren't all upset and rioting or joining us in the civil rights movement and all that in the North is because they just didn't have a clear enough enemy. Like, no, they weren't fighting because nobody was instigating them. Nobody was agitating them. They were just fine in their own neighborhoods. You know, you think that they had the average black living in a black neighborhood. Even today, they don't have any consciousness of like social struggles or class consciousness or consciousness of race in relation to the whites. Like they had no like deep-seated envy or resentment. Like even the average random hood black living today doesn't really have much of that. They have to be agitated. They have to be like brought, like riled up into the fight by the, you know, the controllers behind the scenes. That's why the most militant, like anti-white black people out there aren't the like hood blacks living on the corner in the fucking ghetto or anything like that. They're the ones who have gone to Harvard. They're the ones that have gone to, you know, these top tier schools and been educated into this amount of hatred. So interesting point to make there.
White America. He says that the Negro must fight the whole system. He emphasizes pride in being black, independent black political action. Some black radicals say that what the white man won't give, the Negro must take, if necessary by violence. Black radicalism has led to a debate within the Negro community. The issues are black nationalism, third-party political activity, and violence. The participants in this debate speak for themselves. Black Muslim leader, black supremacist, and Malcolm's first mentor, Elijah Muhammad.
God didn't make the white man that made us. The white man made just 6,000 years ago, and we was made unlimited. We don't know nothing about any birth record.
What?
You can't find no history.
This guy's babbling nonsense. The white man was made 6,000 years ago, and the black man was made, who knows, unlimited. Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
White man made just 6,000 years ago.
Muhammad.
God didn't make the white man that made us. The white man made just 6,000 years ago, and we was made unlimited. We don't know nothing about.
What? I gotta hear that one more time. I gotta know the exact wording. This is so insane. This guy was a leader of black radicalism.
Just 6,000 years ago, and we was made unlimited. We don't know nothing about any birth.
We was made unlimited. We don't know nothing about any words.
You can't find no history that will.
That shit is hilarious.
Of the black man. He has always been.
The black man is eternal. The black in the beginning, God created the black man.
Edits the radical black magazine Liberator in New York. The newest voice of the young black intellectual. Circulation of 15,000, a tough, aggressive voice of pride.
Let me put it to you this way. We are proud of being black and of our black heritage. But white America does not accept the concept that this is a multiracial society. It has never accepted the fact that there are black people, brown people, yellow people here alongside them. They've always looked upon America as being white. And hence, all of its propaganda is directed at us to convince us that somehow or the other we must become white before they will accept us.
Damn, this is a strong weapon.
Even a publication like Ebony, with a subscription of something like 800,000 Negro subscribers, is written for what we call the low visibility Negro. You know, the light-skinned Negro. With a rare exception, Ebony never features the activities of the black man in this country. It's always that low visibility, you know, the almost white Negro. And how you, too, can be this way one day if you use some of the skin likeness that they run in their advertising. I mean, when it runs ads like Dr. Fred Palmer's skin whitening, it is denial of the fact that black people exist. That somehow or the other, in order for us to exist, we must resort to using hair straighteners so our hair won't be kinky. That somehow if we could only hide our blackness, we can then become part of this thing called the American melting pot or the American thing. This is the primary role that Ebony and such publications serve.
See, this black, you know what's crazy is like this black guy's talking shit about this. Like blacks who were trying to fit in with white society, trying to fit in with white beauty standards, trying to make themselves look whiter, trying to talk white, all this other shit. He talks shit about that, but really it's the fact that whites were sort of in like there. Well, let me put it this way: there were more blacks that were trying to fit into white society and talk like white people, look like white people, dress like white people, act like white people. Like there were enough blacks out there that were really trying to do this back then that the average white people who were being convinced or trying to be persuaded that blacks and whites were equal, that it's just skin color and all that, that they actually bought it. That they bought this bullshit because enough blacks were actually trying. They were trying really hard back then. Like white society was so, white culture was so predominant and so, you know, ubiquitous that there were enough blacks really, really trying their best to fit in. And you see it in these documentaries, though, even, you know, especially in the 50s. Like by this time, mid-late 60s, there was this black radicalism that was popping up. But before this, the blacks were far more well-spoken. They tried to dress like whites. You know, they were really making an effort. And it was because of that white people bought this bullshit that we were all equal. Like that had a big impact on the white consciousness. It's the same reason why even, you know, in later decades, when you see more blacks, you know, starting to get on television, becoming actors, TV, you know, TV shows were being made, you know, that centered around black families and all that, that they were being presented as like basically being presented in whiteface. They were being presented as white people with a different skin color. And yeah, that's one of the reasons that white people even were able to buy this con. And yet back in 66 you got these idiot radicals that are like, hey, we gotta stop that. But I guess part of it though is like this whole radical movement was actually from the very top, controlled by the Jews that were trying to destabilize society anyway. So I guess phase one was like convince enough blacks to act like whites so that the whites would believe that we're just equals with different skin colors. And then phase two is once the Trojan horse is in, you know, inside the walls, once your foot is in the door, now we fucking, like a magician, we take the rabbit out of the hat and then make it disappear again. You know, you get the blacks in society, they look and act like whites, and then poof, they turn right back into black people to destabilize and cause chaos. And
This young man worked for Core, worked for SNCC, lives in Watts, Los Angeles, is typical of the young intellectual Negro. Jimmy Garrett speaks of pride.
I don't think, see, I think the problem is the standard for discussion is set by the whites. And a lot of Negroes now don't want to accept that standard anymore. They say, we're going to have our own standard. I think that the hookup comes if you can develop a whole new standard where whites and Negroes can have a dialogue. Not either one of those are acceptable anymore. I mean, whites aren't going to accept Negro standards, and Negroes no longer want to be white. So that clear thing is to develop a whole new standard, and then everybody move toward that, so there can be some kind of dialogue.
Julian Bond, of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He speaks of pride.
Well, a great many people in SNCC and a great many people in the Negro community in general have feelings of nationalism, of black nationalism. And the disturbing thing to me is a great many Americans, white Americans, seem to equate this with the same sort of white supremacy that flows from the Ku Klux Klan and the Citizens Council and so on. And I don't think it's quite the same thing. I think what black nationalists are saying is that Negro Americans have their own history.
See, listen to this guy. This is the type of black that was sold to whites to begin with.
And the disturbing thing to me is a great many Americans,
and this is the type of black they get after they're in society.
I don't think. See, I think
no,
the problem is the standard for discussion is set by the whites. And a lot of Negroes now don't want to accept.
Oh, I'd have to go back into the last video to show you the blacks that they were talking to on the street in the Miami riots. But that's the one you get in your neighborhood. This is what you get on TV, and the other one is what you get in your neighborhood.
SNCC and a great many people in the Negro community in general have feelings of nationalism, of black nationalism. And the disturbing thing to me is a great many Americans, white Americans, seem to equate this with the same sort of white supremacy that flows from the Ku Klux Klan and the Citizens Council and so on. And I don't think it's quite the same thing. I think what black nationalists are saying is that Negro Americans have their own history and their own heritage to be proud of. And it's a heritage and a history that the rest of the country must recognize. I don't think it's any more than that. And I think it's something that Negroes have to be made more aware of, is their history of participation as American citizens and as against the form of American life that has oppressed them. And I think it's a beneficial thing rather than a detrimental thing.
Hold on, we got some dialogue here.
Brother Martin? Yes, he's right over there. He led a group of us here during the confusion of the attack. We owe him our lives. It all happened so fast. It was all
Why have half the characters I've seen in this video game been black?
We failed them miserably. Bye.
I'm just lucky to be alive.
Have you brought help? We've been trapped here since the Daedra overran the city. The Emperor is dead. Who are you? What do you really want with me? Yes, I'm a priest. You'll need a priest. I don't think I'll be much help to you. I'm having trouble understanding the gods right now. If all this is part of a divine plan, I'm not sure I want to have anything to do with it. What plan? What are you talking about? I prayed to Akatosh all through that terrible night, but no help came. Only more Daedra. What can you possibly know that would help me make sense of this? Emperor Uriel Septon? You think the Emperor is my father? No, you must have the wrong man. I am a priest of Akatosh. My father was a farmer. You spoke to the Emperor before he died? And he told you to find me?
Same. No blacks mod. We need one.
I don't know. It's strange. I think you might actually be telling the truth. What does this mean? What do you want from me? No. I'm sorry, but even if what you say is true, I won't abandon these people to their fate. I'll go with you when we can all live here together.
What?
I'm sorry. I don't think I'm going to be much help. Goodbye.
Okay. There's another black. It's like half the fucking characters. It's all free shit. This guy looks goofy.
The Chapel of Akatosh. 4 walls standing and no fire. Can you think of a safer place? I'm not going out there. I'm through talking to you.
Just no one goes through this door unless under the captain. How did you get in here? What do you do? I don't know how you got in here, but you're not saving anyone. No one leaves this chapel until the captain gives the all clear. I have my orders. Kvatch, you too.
So I gotta sneak out. Slavery was legal in Morrowind based. How the hell do I get out of here? Give me the gold.
Just can't sleep. I lie down.
A whole city.
Is this supposed to be the
Close
captain?
my eyes, but
Who's the captain?
can't stop thinking about it.
Alright, I'm putting this back on.
Fannie Lou Hamer, a founder of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. She speaks of pride.
You know, from a child up, I always, at first, I wanted to be white, because my
See, this is the black you get in your neighborhood.
family was 20 of us, 6 girls and 14 boys. We would make 50 and 60 bales of cotton, gather all that cotton, and we wouldn't have food in the wintertime. So I figured then the white people must be right. But as I got older, I said, no, there's something wrong. And if I ever get a chance, I'm going to do something about it. But year after year, things look like got worse and worse. The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee helped to build confidence in people that they was just about to lose all hopes. And that's the truth.
Black radicals seek equality in different ways. Julian Bond sought it at the polls. Elected to the Georgia legislature, he was refused a seat because he opposes the Vietnam War.
Let me try this again.
Bond describes his work with SNCC.
Well, it's an organization of about 200 young people, mostly young people, college and university-age young people, white and Negro from all across the country, who try to do several things. Number one, we try to encourage Southern Negroes to register to vote, but even more basic than that, we try to organize people in the rural parts of the Deep South into groups that can make use of those votes as Negroes gradually achieve the right to vote.
But we go in and live with people, live in their homes, work with the people.
Speak to the... But where's the captain?
Get them around.
Who is the captain? Is he in there?
Some of their fears. We have to cut across generation of fear.
And we hope someday that we will have developed across the South
That's not the captain.
what we call pockets
That's not the
of power
captain.
that Negroes can use to gain a measure of independence and can use to force some changes in the American system to make their lives
Not
a little
him.
better.
It was only
Not
SNCC.
him.
SNCC and CORE worked with us day and night. You would be surprised.
Gotta be outside,
when
right?
SNCC came into Mississippi the 14th of August of 1962. The first conference, I went to a SNCC conference in Nashville, Tennessee in November 1962.
In November?
And the first time I had a chance to just sit next to a white person. I've never been that nervous in my life. And they told us, they didn't tell us what to say. Say, you know how you've been getting along in Mississippi. We don't have to tell you. Say what you feel.
The Southern Christian Leadership Conference, one of the
Oh, it's
established
Martin?
civil rights organizations, made its reputation in the
I already
South.
talked to him.
the Reverend Andrew Young of SCLC.
Presently, we're engaged
I gotta talk to him
in
again. Oh
two
shit.
major
I don't want to fight again.
programs. One is a voter registration program in the state of Alabama, which is involving 31 counties and so far 2 of the major cities, and we'll probably expand to about 5 major cities in the next 2
Can they
months.
all take their swords out?
The key to this is that we think by
See, there's nothing I
transforming the
could- there's no
political
other-
structure, simply through the adding of Negroes to the voting rolls,
There's no other
we will
dialogue
accomplish
option.
a certain political reform across the South.
The civil rights movement, by and large, has been the almost exclusive property of the old coalition that was formed by Roosevelt, labor, the white liberal establishment, et cetera, with a few showcase Negroes up front. But by and large, it has certainly not affected the bulk of the black people in this country, the grassroots people. This is where the liberator hopes to make inroads into the sort of uncommitted black person, which I would say probably comprises something like 75% of the black population in this country. These are the people who cannot identify, let's say, with the Whitney Youngs, the Martin Luther Kings, or the Roy Wilkins, because these people, these so-called leaders, represents the black Anglo-Saxon establishment, and they do not speak for the soul brother in the street.
The soul brother.
Mr. Wilkins came to me one day from the NAACP that I found out at that national convention was the National Association of the Advancement of Certain People, but it didn't include us in Mississippi. And he came to me and told me, he said, you people are ignorant, you don't know anything about politics, you put your turn over, why don't you pack up and go home? Well, at that time, I imagined that he was being pressured.
So I think Martin Luther King is the logic of the Negro leader, and he's trying to get Negroes into the middle class, I mean the body politic, which ultimately is to get them into the mainstream of American life. Now, Malcolm said there was something wrong with the mainstream of American life, and there was something wrong with not getting in there. I mean, why get in the middle of a cesspool? That's my own attitude.
There is no white man in America today can go to Washington and give the so-called American Negro equal rights. He can't do it.
Or in terms
he can promise it to him, but he have his own people to contend with. Equal rights will mean giving some others too. You can't be equal by living on the white man's soil. This is his country. Why should you be deceived by a president or a candidate for president saying he will give you equal rights when you can't get no equal rights? No fully equal rights is here for you unless they are going to do this. Give to you some portion of the country and give to you the rights to
I must find the dragon stone
for yourself and your own people.
Give them a fus
By
roda.
nature you are different.
There's not enough black people in this country to talk about setting up a little hill out there. Well, you know, in a day or two, the people could blow us off the face of the map, you know. So I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about in terms of a better and a greater world for all people. And we can't do that by me in one corner doing what I can do to hurt you and you in another corner doing the same thing.
I think that in the process of being absorbed into it, we're going to have to change it. For instance, we're trying to integrate into the political system, but we're not integrating into the political system of James Eastland and Strom Thurmond. That when we get the right to vote, the James Eastlands and the Strom Thurmonds will have to go, because the first thing we'll do is vote them out of office. So that means that as we come in as a power factor in American life, certain changes will take place in the structure of the American economy and the American political system, which will be advantageous not just to the Negro, but to the whole political system.
The reason we have a Mississippi Freedom Democrat Party, we wasn't allowed to participate with the regular Democratic Party in Mississippi. We tried from the precinct level to go with the regular Democrats. I'll never forget when we went to visit the precinct meeting in Newsreels. It was 8 of us, 8 Negroes. And we went up to this polling place where they would hold precinct meetings, and they had this place closed. It was locked up. So we stood at the nearest place, which was right down by the steps on the lawn, and we held our own precinct meeting.
I don't even know what my graphics card is. I bought this PC like ready-made from a local computer store. It's not like a big corporate box store, but just like a local computer supply store, and they sell their own pre-made gaming, like they make them, gaming towers. So I'm not even sure, but it's running, acceptably well, and I'm streaming and I'm running a video on the other monitor. I'm happy with how it's been doing.
But sir, I want to help fight.
You will, soldier.
I want to kill this
Get back here immediately. We'll need every available
soldier here. This soldier. It's not a soldier. She's a soldier.
It's time to move out. Let's go.
We've done it. I can't believe it. I didn't really think this would work. Maybe we do have a fighting chance. Oh yes, we're not done, not even close. This was only the first step. If this town is to be ours again, we'll need to get inside the castle. You've come this far with us. Will you go further? If we're truly going to succeed, I'll need much more of your help. I warn you, though, what we've seen so far is nothing compared to the battle that likely awaits us. Take a few moments to catch your breath and think it over. When you're ready, let me know and we'll get underway.
I mean, obviously I'm not running this on top quality. Let's see. Under settings. Yeah, I mean, I'm not running this. I'm running this on low. Let's see if I could even do it on medium. I don't see much of a difference. Certainly wouldn't handle it on. Let's see if we go to ultra. It's gonna crash my shit.
Not now. There's work to be done.
I could already tell it's more laggy.
It's the smell, really. Smoke and fire and something worse in the rooms. No one goes through this
What?
door. Good day.
Let me through.
Never forget him. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's definitely laggier.
Are you ready to go?
Honestly, the difference isn't worth it.
Our goal is the castle gate. You know that.
I'm gonna put it back to low. Yeah, I want to see what my graphics card even is right now. I can't even remember. Settings. I should move this over here. I don't know if there's any sensitive information. Let's see. How do I see what my graphics card is? Does anybody know? Devices? Yeah, it's got to be under... I used to know how to do all this shit back in like older versions of Windows, and I just haven't. I'm going to task manager, apparently. Go to... Oops. Performance tab. GPU. It's a 1660 Super. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Super. Wonder how much those even are. Oh, they're only like $350. They're not crazy. That's like lower mid tier, isn't it? I don't even know. Oh, let me put the Negro back on.
Our delegates and our alternates, and we passed the law to resolution. And we moved from the precinct level up to the state. Then on the 24th of April, 24th of April, 1964, the Mississippi Freedom Democrat Party was organized at the Masonic Temple in Jackson, Mississippi.
What?
The 24th of April, 24th or 6th of April, 1964, the Mississippi Freedom Democrat Party was organized at the Masonic Temple in Jackson, Mississippi.
Holy shit. The Mississippi... Oh, MISS. MIS Freedom Democratic Party. One of the... This had to be one of like the first civil rights parties, no? It was organized. Does it say it on Wikipedia, I wonder? Origins. In Mississippi, African Americans were restricted from registering and voting by means of intimidation, harassment, terror, and complicated literacy tests. Yeah. If you've looked into what the literacy tests actually were, they were not complicated. They had been limited from participation in the political system since 1890 by passage that year of a new state constitution and by the practices of the governing white Democrats in the decades since. So the Freemasons fucking created this party. That's crazy. That's crazy. Totally unexpected. Oops. Too far back.
The Mississippi Freedom Democrat Party was organized at the Masonic Temple in Jackson, Mississippi.
That's a good clip. I should clip that.
The Progressive Labor Party and its candidate Bill Epton, myself.
Bill Epton was a candidate of the Mao Communist Progressive Labor Party. Epton ran legally in Harlem, but somehow his name, or lever, was missing on 2/3 of the polling machines in his district. Experiences like these support the assertion of many black radicals that the vote is a sham.
The unemployment among the black people, the Puerto Rican people, and the white workers increases.
Which way is the castle?
Conditions get
This
worse.
one?
Police brutality continues, and everything that we need and we demand and we never get from the Democrats and the Republicans.
Let us take Harlem for an example. Lindsay and the whole motley crew from downtown come running up to Harlem during the election to promise jobs, housing, public housing, schools, and hospitals. And the black people, unfortunately, bought Lindsay this time on this. But no one in the black community asked Lindsay, if you take these slum buildings off the tax roll and replace it with non-taxable buildings such as schools and hospitals, where is that money going to come from to build these hospitals and schools? And this is precisely why they won't build anymore.
It's got to come from the white man.
Public housing, because you're taking off the tax rolls these slum buildings and replacing them with non-taxable structures.
You white people built such nice hospitals and schools. We want some of that. Give me some of that.
So you can control people. If you determine their choices for them, then it doesn't matter whether they vote or not. Because if you choose between a person who's going to stab you 5 times in the heart and a person going to stab you 4 times in the heart, what kind of choice is that? So you go ahead and vote. So what? So you vote for a senator, and the senator's constituency is either lobbyists who represent big business,
How do we get
or
in here?
lobbyists who represent himself. So what? So you can vote.
I am interested in developing a third political all-black party. Once we in the black
How about
community can
a
establish
political
our
all-black
political party,
country
then we
that they
can
could live in?
negotiate with our so-called white allies who have developed their own political party simultaneously along with
How the
us.
fuck do we get in
Then,
here?
from the standpoint of power and interest, we can negotiate fairly and squarely. We wouldn't be hung up with all the euphemisms of such as brotherhood, and it's a moral thing to do.
If we had a chance to run for office in
field
Mississippi,
house,
and
okay.
in some districts in Mississippi, we have a chance to have Negroes in power. But I wouldn't want a black
which way
power
is the field
structure
house?
in Mississippi, just like I'm against the all-white power structure. We want good people, regardless of they white or black, to represent the people of Mississippi. See, I'm not concerned about just representing black people, because we have poor white that's in the same category with the poor Negro. Well, I want to see a change for the people. And if we can get a good white man, all right, we'll put him in office. But I don't want it all black, and I don't want it all white.
What we need to do today is to develop black institutions so that the whole movement, the black liberation movement, does not depend on any single individual, but depends upon an institution. We're so bad off that we don't even have an ideology for our revolution. We don't even have one black economist, not one black theoretician who can sit down and say, this is the program, this is
Don't hold your breath, buddy.
something on the order of
You
the
gotta
American
rely
Jewish
on the
Committee
Jews for those
or the
things.
American Jewish Congress, except
Oh!
they would be black.
What? Oh, he just meant he wants something like the American Jewish Congress, except black.
Instead of it being white. An
Well,
institution
you've got.
that's up
He should know he's already got a Congress for the blacks, and it's called the American Jewish Congress.
front, analyzing, making proposals in terms of course of action, lobbying, etc., for black people, not hung up on this business of integration, whatever that means. If we look at the whole question of the black people, realistically, some kind of a dole we have to set up.
I have
In
a
other
feeling
words,
I'm just like
given the
too
rapid
sleepy right
advancement
now
of
to
technology in the
fucking
country
do this.
today, every black child over 10 is already obsolete in terms of the needs and demands of the technology. So some kind of
No
dole
idea
system
where I'm
would have to
going.
be set up where we would be supported for the rest of our lives while all of the efforts, concentration in terms of education, motivation be placed on the black children between the ages of 1 and 10 so that they will have the equipment to enter into the technology that's America.
Now, that's one aspect. Another aspect would be a guaranteed...
Imagine being this guy, though, back then, and, like, living the rest of your life and seeing that, like, all of your efforts are in vain, and that you're, like, one of the, like, top 1% of the blacks, and you're not gonna bring the rest with you. Like, none of them are capable of, like, improving in the way that he really wants, and, you know, getting to the end of his life, looking back and seeing the blacks are in the same fucking position. And, I wonder if at that point you accept it. You just accept it and realize, like, it was all in vain, or if you double down and claim that the white man is still holding the brothers down.
Annual wage. This can only come from central planning in Washington. It cannot come from this freewheeling, profit-making economy. It has to come from a central planning agency in Washington, a guaranteed annual wage. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of shuffling of papers, but in terms of the plight of the black man in this country, there's been no perceptible change, primarily because the white man has the highest standard of living.
I must be missing something. This can't be right.
Dominance in world affairs. Why should he turn to me now and say, I want to share part of my good fortune with you? He has no reason to. And I think it reminds me of, you know, when we were kids. The boy with all the marbles is not going to change the rules of the game. So it is up for us, the black people now, to force the whites to change the rules of the game.
What the fuck? You even hear him saying, like, they made all this shit. Why would they want to share it with us? And just goes right into saying, like, we got to force them.
Reason to. He enjoys the annual wage. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of shuffling of papers. But in terms of the plight of the black man in this country, there's been no perceptible change. Primarily because the white man has no reason to. He enjoys the highest standard of living. His government enjoys dominance in world affairs. Why should he turn to me now and say, I want to share part of my good fortune with you? He has no reason to. And I think it reminds me of the... You know,
so, there it is. That's why. Because he thinks it's just good fortune. This is another clippable moment in this video. You know, it's a perfect admission that they understand, you know, whites just had a better lives than these blacks, but instead of realizing, like, oh, it's because we made it for ourselves. This is just how we are. Our people, our race, our culture was capable of doing more than you guys. Okay, that's just the natural. That's just the way the world works. Instead of realizing that it's like because of our people's efforts and that we created these situations for ourselves, he just calls it just fortune. It's good fortune. It was the roll of the dice, and now we have to share it with the blacks. It's not that they're going to steal something or try to steal something that we created that they could never create, and that by stealing it they're just going to destroy it. No, it's nothing like that. It's just sharing in some good fortune. We just stumbled upon this this great treasure, and now we have to share it. That's how he sees it. It's amazing. Apollo, don't you work with your hands like I have, but are far smarter? I work with my hands, yes. I'm a tow truck driver. I don't know about far smarter. I don't know how smart you are, but I have a bachelor's degree in philosophy. I was always, you know, a top student growing up. I don't know if that makes me smart, but in a better world, I would not be a tow truck driver. Put it that way. I like driving a tow truck. I do. I've come to really enjoy the job. But in a better world, I would rather be teaching at a university or something like that. That's kind of what I dreamed of doing when I was going to school, until I realized how fucking anti-white and just horrible that environment and the system around it is, how horrible the people are. The average person in academia is just insufferable. And it's all anti-white, globo-homo communism. And there's just no reason to be a part of that system. There's no... I don't want to be surrounded by that for the rest of my life. But anyway, I cannot find the field house. I've been doing this for probably close to 2 hours now, I guess. And it's getting late. I need to get to sleep. But it's been fun. This definitely won't become a series. I don't know why I just spontaneously decided to do this tonight. But I just wanted to remind you guys that I'm still alive, still out there, that I have a project that I'm planning, something a little bit more ambitious than previous works. I want to actually, do something where I'm filming and talking on the scene and showing the history of the city that I grew up in, and talking about a topic as big as white flight, and trying to get like a single documentary out there that gives the white people's perspective on white flight, because it just doesn't. That thing doesn't exist currently, and it's a huge part of American history that needs to be talked about, that needs to be understood. And so yeah, that's kind of what I've been planning. I have no release date or anything like that, so I have no idea when I'll be done, but hopefully at least by the end of the summer. So before that, I would like to do a few more live streams and whatnot, but yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for showing up to this impromptu stream, and I'll hopefully be seeing you again in the near future. So, you guys have a good rest of your